All right, we are live. All right. Yeah, no, we were getting kind of getting carried away backstage talking. But I figured it's time to go since the timer went off and said that it was go time. Uh, well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that's here with us today and is going to be joining us. Thanks for coming out and um, 10 gallon fish tanks. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation and deciding to join me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say, I was excited that you reached out. So, a little backstory to share real quick, if you got a second,
Oh, I
is
got I got a lot of time.
perfect. So, I started shooting long form YouTube content about this time last year. So, I started back in January because I was up until then I was just shooting shorts, and I noticed you started commenting on my videos, my shorts and stuff, and then you made a video about me back when I had like 100 subscribers. And so I was like, man, it'd be cool to collab with him, get on one of his videos sometimes, and hang out and talk. So man, I was honored when you asked me to come join him. Oh,
Well, the honor is mine for accepting because without you guys, that's what I always tell people. Without you guys, I don't think I have a show. I can talk for a little bit by myself, but I'm not a big ranter. I can't go on those big rants where they'll go for an hour. I don't have that skill set. I get sidetracked too much to do that. Hey, Jeffro, thanks for joining us. But I can when I do have a guest, and without a guest, it makes it a little bit harder to have something to talk about. Um, it's already bad enough. Like I was telling you, I spent a lot of my work shifts by myself anyway, so it's kind of nice when I get to talk to somebody else and do that. But as far as yeah, one of the other things that I like to do on my channel, and we were kind of talking a little bit about it backstage as to when I started doing this. Um, there's a there's a live stream that I do that's called The Plug, and that's the one where I brought up the channel. What I like to do is it's my form of paying back everybody that's ever given me a hand along the way. And it's my way of paying it forward. And what I like to do is I like to go find interesting new channels that are coming out. And I noticed because when they did it for me, it was a big lift to be able to get at least attention that channel existed.
yeah,
And that's all I was asking for. At that point, then it became my responsibility to retain the people that were coming. That's on me. But the fact that people would mention the fact that I even existed in the very beginning, that was very helpful. Because the way the algorithm works, whether it exists or it doesn't exist, it's obviously the newer channels don't get as much publicity as some of the more established channels. So that is something that I've been doing for quite some time now, and it's been cool because the other thing that I enjoy is community and growing the community. And I found that by being able to do that, there's a lot of people that I've come across since I started doing this that have kind of become part of this little sphere of hobbyists. And it's kind of cool. I mean, you get to like you had Kyle on the other day.
yep,
Kyle's another person that I came across. Well, like I told you, I spend about 8 hours a day behind a computer, and probably about those 8 hours, at least four of them, I'm just kind of looking, and I'm always looking for newer content. And that's how I've come across people like you, people like Kyle, and other people that have been on here with me. And it's been really interesting because you get that sense of discovery, like, oh, I found this new channel, right? And you want to share it. But then to not only be able to do that, but to see the evolution of channels like Kyle's and yours, that's like really, really cool because you're seeing it being built from the ground up. And that I think is probably one of the things that I enjoy even more than keeping some of the tanks and the fish and stuff like that, is being able to watch other people succeed. And I really like it when people succeed and thrive and go on to do whatever it is they're going to do. And it's kind of cool to be able to say, hey, I remember when they started out.
yeah. That was really cool that you did that. It's something that unfortunately I feel like not enough people do. Is sometimes in like the social media game online, everyone's so like self-centered, and all they do is like care about themselves, and they don't take time to like reflect and like realize, like you did, that there's everyone out there who's supporting you, everyone in the past who's helped you grow and supported what you're doing. It's like those people that helped you, like it means the world to you when you're like just grinding and going. So it's cool. Like that's really cool that you're giving back, doing that. It's funny because like for me, I didn't even realize that you shouted me out until about like a year later, like 10 months later. Way to like see if you got mentioned in something. Like I was playing around with the analytics on YouTube
Yeah.
a couple months ago, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And it made sense because kind of when you shouted me out, I had this day, and I kind of remembered, like, oh, that's probably why. I had this day where I gained like a bunch of subscribers where I normally didn't. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. So it was really cool to see. And kind of like you're saying, like even the community that you get to build through this that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Shoot here, talk to people like yourself. I have my members wall back here. I get to talk to those guys every day. I had one of my members, like Lone Star Finn, he was on my channel. So it's cool being able to like help everybody around you grow, give them a spotlight, and you get to meet some really cool and interesting people.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I the way I look at this is because I remember back when I was starting out, there's a point where you're kind of second guessing yourself whether you really want to do this or not, and there's that sense of like, wow, nobody's really watching this or not. But then you would get that one subscriber, it's like, oh, I got one more. It's like, and it would always kind of seem to feel the wanting to continue. So to me, I found that to be very important as a beginning content creator, is to be able to find those little motivation things. And so that's I know that um, by doing what I do, sometimes I it always seems to happen like at the right time for a lot of people, because I've had comments that say I was thinking about quitting, but then all of a sudden I had 2 or 3 people that showed up. And then once in a while, people will say, "Well, we came here because Mexicali told us about your channel." I don't tell people to do that. That's not something that I'm interested in. I'm more interested in people finding those channels. And the whole thing is, the way I look at it is, if I find something interesting in it, there might be other people that are like-minded like me that might find something interesting in the channel. And it doesn't mean that every single channel that I talk about is going to be a great channel to continue supporting or doing whatever it is that it's going to be. Some of them just drop off. Some of them just decide this is not the right thing for them to do, and that's fine. I mean, but the ones that do stick around, is like I said, I really enjoy watching the progression of a lot of these channels that I've had an opportunity not only to share their channel, but to also share the screen with them and interact with them, and have a conversation with them, and then just watching them continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know, it's one of those things that I personally do find very gratifying. And I don't know, I've never been one to gatekeep. And I know a lot of it, when I came in, there was a lot of that, a little bit, especially some, like you said, the established channels. I never understood why that was the case. I might not ever, because I might not ever get to that size of a channel, but um, it doesn't mean that I can't do it now. So I do it now, and try to help out. Just bring attention to other channels, and that's pretty much it. That's the only thing is, um, I'm of the opinion that the more the merrier. The more of us that are around. I don't know today's a perfect example, and I don't know if KJ's here. She reached out to the friend of mine I was telling you, Aquafunk, and said, "I'm bored. There's nobody going live," and he went live because nobody was doing that. So there's probably times, it's as long as I've been doing this, we go through these ebbs and flows where it'll get real busy, and you can't even find an hour without you interfering with somebody else. But then there's times like now where there's hardly anybody going live, and there's these big gaps in between. But it's, I don't know. I just think, even at that point, people will watch what they want to watch, and if you're doing something that's interesting, entertaining, or worth watching, it doesn't matter when you go. People will come and watch. It's that whole field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. It's kind of the same thing. I know some people get frustrated because they're not getting the views that they think that they deserve, but maybe it's something you're doing that is not attracting those views. Maybe you need to switch a couple of things up and adjust. But we'll see. But yeah, no, nonetheless, like I said, Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Absolutely. And I think like just to kind of speak on the views, I think kind of like yourself. I mean, when I started this channel, I was like, I'm going to be building this fish room in my garage no matter what. And I live like a really busy lifestyle. I'm a bit of a loner. Like I enjoy interacting and talking with people, but I also alone time. And that's one reason I have a fish room, because I can come in here, kind of decompress after a busy day, hang out with my fish, do some maintenance, things like that. And I was like, well, I'm going to be building this thing, so I might as well just like document the journey. If anyone wants to hang out and check it out, then cool. If not, like it's something fun for me to look back on. So
Yeah, no, and one of the things that I was always interested right off the go from when I came across your channel, obviously the name, right? You know, 10 gallon fish tanks. Um, but you know, as I've been watching you started building out the fish room, it's what was the reasoning behind say 10 gallons and not 20 and not, you know, 55s? What was there a real thought behind it when you first started deciding to go with that?
yes, yeah, so there was. So I'll kind of take you back a little bit. So when I first got into the aquarium hobby, it was when I was in college. So I went to college out in California, and
Okay.
I wasn't really allowed to have any other pets. So growing up, I always had like dogs and cats and everything like that. I went to college, I was not allowed to have any pets. And me and my buddies went to PetSmart, like everyone does, right? We went there,
Yeah.
little like we need a friend, right? We need a pet. So we went out and I picked out a 10-gallon tank, which is probably the most common. I think it is the most common tank bought out there in the aquarium hobby. Got a 10-gallon tank. Didn't know what I was doing, and I made a bunch of beginner mistakes, but I had so much fun with that tank and enjoyed it during college. Started breeding guppies. I was planning on getting into some shrimp, but all that said, I kind of got out of the hobby, but I always loved that 10-gallon tank. It was like so much fun. It was just, even though it was small, it was easy to maintain, and I had a lot of fun like breeding guppies out of it and things like that. So I got out of the hobby for a bit because I was moving around. It was hard to move with tanks. I was chasing my career, my job. And then I finally was able to be in a spot where I bought my first house, and I actually had space where, when I was in college, it was my dream. I was watching Corey from Aquarium Co-op, Dustin's fish tanks. I was watching all these different people doing their fish things. And I was like, man, one day, like if I have a house, I want to like build a fish room. And that was like my dream in college. And so I finally bought a house. And when I got out here, I actually brought a 10-gallon tank with me because I'd gotten back into the hobby when I lived in Dallas for a little bit. I got back in the hobby out there in Dallas. I went to Aquashella. There were so many crazy like fish stores out there. And I had my 10-gallon tank that I started with. And I brought it with me to Tennessee, and I had a cherry shrimp, a white cod minnow, and some like moss, and that's kind of what I started with. And I started kind of like breeding those and having fun with it. And anyways, all that to say, I got like a bigger tank. I got a 75-gallon tank, and I had fun with that. But I found myself just really being drawn to the 10-gallon tanks. Like I just really love nano fish, like celestial pearl danias are like my favorite fish. And I just fell in love with like pygmy cories. Cherry shrimp became like one of my favorite, like just shrimp out there, like most people. And I just fell in love with like nano fish. It's something I've always just really been into, like the cichlids and like the bass and like all the big stuff's cool. But I realized it really wasn't for me. I had my 75-gallon tank, and I realized this isn't really like the tank I love. Like I would start neglecting the maintenance. I wasn't having that much fun with it. And so I started just getting 10-gallon tanks, and it's like what I fell in love with and was just having so much fun. And at the time, when I started my channel, I was really busy, didn't think I had time to shoot any sort of like content or anything like that. So I was just shooting like shorts as I had time, kind of getting into it. And I was watching Corey from Aquarium Co-op's live stream, and he was talking about how he like thinks the name 10-gallon fish tanks would be awesome for a YouTube channel. And he asked all his buddies to do it. No one wanted to do it. No one wanted to take the name 10-gallon fish tanks for their channel and roll with it. And I was like, I love 10-gallon tanks. That's like what I do. That's what I'm passionate about. I love nano fish. I love my 10-gallon tanks. I think 10-gallon tanks are the best tanks, and I have them. I think all tanks are great, but 10 gallons are for me. That's like my passion. And when he said that, I was like, that's a good idea. So I changed my name from Josiah's Fish Tanks to 10-gallon fish tanks, and then just kept it there ever since. So.
Yeah, I think by the time I found your channel, your channel name was already 10-gallon fish tanks. Which that was kind of like I said, that was kind of what probably drew my attention right off the bat. I'm sorry. One of the things that I like to do is for the people in the chat, I like to give them moderation rights so that they can kind of, you know, check out other people and stuff like that. So I forget that I can't do that on the a platform that I'm using. So I usually will bring it up on my phone.
Oh, cool.
once in a while I'll see a name I don't recognize, and I'll give them that opportunity for people to check them out. The other great thing is that it allows just about anybody to add a link, like Lori, Monster Fish Gal. She already put your link out and stuff like that. So
Awesome. Appreciate that.
yeah, but that's why I've kind of been looking down, is because I'm looking at the phone trying to do that stuff. I forgot to do it right off the beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
Like little thing.
Now the other thing that I've been watching is, and I don't know if this is a little bit on your background, and I don't know if you want to get into that or not, but it seems like your channel, even from the beginning, has kind of had a structure. Even the videos you've been putting out, they seem like they're following a plan that you've kind of laid out. At least that's my impression. I could be totally wrong on this, but it seems like you have at least had made an outline of the progression and the type of channel, the videos you wanted to do, because it really does seem like that. It's one of the more organized channels that I've seen when it comes to the type of videos that are being presented. They all seem to have like an order, a sequence, that one video will play off the next one and the next one, and so forth. Is that something that was done intentionally, or it just happens to be the way it's kind of played out?
I would say yes and no. So I guess a little more backstory. So when I was in high school, I had a bunch of different YouTube channels. So I was a
Okay.
YouTube junkie. I watched tons of YouTube in high school, college, you name it. Even today, this day, I'm constantly watching YouTube whenever I have free time. Um, and so I had like 3 or 4 other channels I used to shoot and have fun with, and then those all kind of fizzled out. I stopped shooting them. So when I got back into it, I knew the basic structure I wanted to do, because all my other channels, I was not very like organized or prepared on how I would do it. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, it was actually my wife who pushed me to do it, because I was shooting the short form content and I was just doing it haphazardly, like whenever I had time, because I thought I was too busy at the time to be able to really like shoot long form. I was like, it's going to be too complicated. So I was shooting a bunch of short form content, and my wife's like, "Why aren't you shooting long form?" I was like, "It's too much time. It's too much effort." Because when I used to try to shoot content in like high school and stuff like that, I thought I had to have like this fancy camera. I had to have the drone. I had to have like all the cool proper equipment. Then I had to get on my laptop, go edit it all. And it's like this whole long process. I was like, "That's too much. I'm like really busy with my main job, and I don't have time to do that." She's like, "Why don't you just use your phone?" I was like, "You're right. Like you're already shooting short form with your phone. Just flip it sideways and shoot long form." I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not that hard. And then so she popped that idea, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do long form, I need to do it right. So I had a game plan. I was like, okay, every single Sunday at 12 p.m., I'm going to drop one long form video. And I'm like one of these people, when I get like into something like fish tanks, content, like whatever I'm doing, my job, I go like all in. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to try to do it to the best of my ability. So it was like pretty much game plan, like 12 p.m. Sundays. Every single Sunday, I'm going to drop a long form video. So my challenge in 2025, since my wife challenged me on it, was like, go for it, like shoot a long form video. I was like, well, if I'm going to shoot a long form video, I got to drop a long form every single Sunday at 12 p.m. So that was like my game plan. And I was like, the only way this is going to work, because of how busy I am, is I got to shoot it on my phone. I'm going to edit it on my phone. And people are probably going to complain that it's not like this high end, like really cool edits and really cool proper videos, a perfect mic setup. I was like, but it's the only way that's going to work for me, so I'm just going to go with that. So I had the structure. I just want to post every single Sunday. And then as I went, it was just like I'd be laying in bed at night thinking like, okay, what do I want to shoot next? And so as these ideas started popping in my head, I would just keep notes. So throughout the day, if I randomly thought of something that I was like, oh, I'm about to do this project, or I want to get this fish, or oh, I think somebody could enjoy learning about this, it would pop in my head. I would just write it in my notes. And so over time, over the course of last year, I have built up right now like almost 200 ideas of videos I want to shoot. And it's just as I have time, I start shooting through them. And then I kind of try to tie in a little bit. Like if I shot something in the last video, I'll try to tie it in the next one. But that's something I'm trying to get a little bit better at, is a little bit better at storytelling and referencing back to other things I shot. So it's a little haphazard, but somewhat structured, pretty much.
Yeah, no, because like I said, I started watching it, but when you decided to start doing your YouTube channel, oh, excuse me, I got it like a sneeze that's coming out. I'm trying to fight it through. Uh, did you already know that this was going to be, um, that you were going to be selling out of your fish room, or was it, did you decide to build a fish room because you wanted to keep multiple fish, or has it always been a business oriented side to it?
Yeah, so it's been both. So I did know when I started the YouTube goal was to number one connect with more people all over the world because that's the for me that's like the fun part of one of the fun parts. Like I love to fish. Everything I keep in my fish room is stuff I've always wanted to keep. But number two, I also really love the community side of things. I love being able to get out and talk to people and interact with people. And I was so before I started shooting the content, I was the only way I could pay for my fish room. Well, I could have paid for it another way, but I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to take money out of my own personal paycheck to pay for my fish room. I want to keep that like in my house and with my family, but I'm going to take my hobby. I told my wife I want to build a fish room in my garage, but I want to take out of our finances. And the way I'm going to do it is pay for it through breeding, selling fish, shrimp, and plants. She was like, cool, go for it. I was like, awesome. So I wanted to fund my hobby and get all the fish I always dreamed of ever getting when I was in college through selling fish. So I started selling fish, breeding and selling like shrimp mainly, and guppies. I started breeding and selling those and selling plants. And as I was doing that, I was like, okay, if I'm doing this, I bet there's people that would love to like see the journey, would like to learn sales tips because I work in sales. I can share some of my sales knowledge into the fish hobby because a common thing I was talking about when I was interacting with local breeders and people like that is they were struggling, like they could breed anything, but they were struggling with how to sell it. And so part of my goal was like, let me jump on YouTube and teach people how to sell it. Because like most of you guys out there who are into fish keeping, you probably can breed things better than me. You're probably more knowledgeable about fish than me. My whole goal was like, I want to come in, enjoy the hobby, learn from you guys, and hopefully I can share something, help you guys learn how to sell things as well. So my whole goal was get on YouTube, share my passion, and then also through that passion, it's also like a funnel back into my business that I'm running to help me like continue to get all the fish I always dreamed about getting. And with the goal of like, as long as I'm doing sales and I'm selling fish and teaching people about it, I want to make sure I'm doing it the right way. So, everything gets 2-week quarantine process. I have to make sure everything's healthy. I want to make sure if I'm shipping fish out that they make it safely. And if they don't make it, I'm going to 100% refund it. Or if people aren't happy with it, I'm going to make it right. So yeah, the YouTube was part of the strategy of like, I'm already selling stuff to my local customers in the area. I would like to have a bigger customer base because at the time I was like, it was just all the local people were buying from me. And I was like, I'd like to be like other people to be able to enjoy the fish, shrimp, plants I'm providing with the quarantine, with everything I'm doing, plus interact with them. So let me jump on YouTube. And if anyone sees value in it and wants to like support, cool, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, one of the things that I've always thought that was really cool is when you set up your fish room, it's actually like a little small retail store, uh, which is, and I think it's in your house, right? It's
Yeah.
within your property because it looks like it's the garage, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, 100%. I'll show you around real quick for a second. It's kind of dark in here, but it is my garage. So you got my garage door, my freezer where I keep all my fish food. And then if I flip you around here, you'll see actually the garage
Yeah,
door. So it is in my garage. So that was the only place that worked because I was like, if I have any leaks, I don't want my house ruined because I knew I was going to have a ton of fish tanks in here. And if some leaks, I don't need my house like absolutely ruined. So I put it in my garage, and it kept, I didn't want my house smelling bad if tanks start to smell a little bit. Me and my wife are those people that like we like to keep things very neat and organized as much as possible, and so I wanted my own separate like little space I could go to and enjoy.
yeah. I know in your one of your last videos or something, you were kind of showing around, and I saw it again, and Kyle won't let me off the hook without asking, what's the world record plaque for?
Okay. Yeah, so that one's a funny story. So my dad is a very creative man, and he's been an inventor. So I guess the backstory to that is my dad invented a sport called, at the time he called it socket ball, and it's
Okay.
soccer and basketball. So you got this enlarged basketball hoop that's in a circular playing field, and you play 5-on-5. So you're kicking the ball into the hoop. And he invented this sport when he was in Africa because he was out there in Africa doing missionary work, building wells and helping people out there. And he invented a sport so he could interact with the local community and have some fun out there. So he invented that sport. We came back and he started selling this sport to local schools. He was anyways, all that. So part of his thing is with inventing the sport is he wanted to get some publicity for it. And he's a big Dude Perfect fan. My dad loves YouTube. He shoots content. He actually me and him had a challenge to see if we could get to the first 1,000 subscribers first. He smoked me. He blew me out of the water. So he shoots YouTube. He loves YouTube. He watches Dude Perfect, and it was actually Dude Perfect's world record they had. And he's like, "Hey, I watched this video where Dude Perfect broke all these world records. I want you to break a world record, one of their world records for me for publicity for the sport." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So it's the longest basketball shot made with the head. If you go look it up on YouTube, you'll see Dude Perfect's video. You'll see mine. I still have some neck pain because I had to fully inflate this basketball like hard as a rock. And I had to throw it up into the air, and it took me like 3 different days over a course of like 2-hour sessions, so about 6 hours of hitting this hard as a rock basketball against my forehead and trying to nail it into the basketball hoop. And I finally made it. I was about to give up because my forehead was getting bruised, my neck was hurting, I felt like I was starting to get a concussion. My dad's like, "Do you want to give up?" I'm like, "No, like I got this. I'm going to do this until we get it." He's like, "Be careful, don't hurt yourself." I'm like, "No, like if I commit to something, I'm going to do it." And so yeah, we finally hit it. So go look it up. It's longest basketball shot made with the head. As of right now, it's still holding. Everyone I work with is always joking. They're like, "We're going to take your record." I'm like, "Go for it. If you break my record, I'll go get my plaque and I'll come bring it to you."
So what was the distance?
It was a little over half court.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's pretty impressive. That's headbutting that ball pretty hard to get it to go that distance.
I had to inflate it really hard because if it was not hard enough, it was not going to go far enough.
So were you self hitting it, or were they throwing it at you and then you were headbutting it?
So my strategy is I would have the ball in my hand, I'd throw it up as high as possible, and then throw all my motion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try to that record anytime soon.
Yeah.
I need to keep the few burnt outs I still have.
Yep. So it kind of messed my neck up a little bit, but it's a fun story. It was a good time.
Well, that's kind of cool. You don't get to meet somebody every day that has a placard from the Guinness Book of World Records. So
Yeah, it's funny because people come into the fish room, and I put it in there as just a talking piece because I had it hidden away in my attic, and I was like, you know what, let me just put it in my fish room. I'm building my little space. It's something funny in my past that I did, and so I was like, I put it in there. So people walk in, they'll be like looking at fish. "Oh, these fish are cool," and they'll look up here and they look all like weirded out. And they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a stupid little like Guinness World Record I did that my dad wanted me to do." So
yeah, no, I saw that and I heard the little story, but I didn't know. I thought it was one that you had purchased from Dude Perfect, Dude Perfect,
uh,
whatever the channel's called. That's what I thought it was, but Kyle was like, "No, that's his," and I was like, "All right, I'll ask him." So, but that's why I had to bring that up. The other thing that I've been watching is that I find very interesting because I've never seen anybody in our niche try to put together a program to help people how to sell. And I think, as far as I'm aware, you're the only channel that I've come across that's actually putting together a course, if you want to call it that, that kind of gives, thing by thing to how to be a little bit more successful when it comes to the sales. Now, obviously, you work in the retail, well, not the retail, but you work in sales.
yeah.
Um, how much of that really translates directly to what we do?
Yeah, it does, and I think that's the thing, and it's kind of the reason I wanted to come out with that course is, like I said, I am blown away by the people I interact with in the fish community who are like incredible breeders, awesome people. Like I learn so much every day from everyone I interact, like yourself, all these other people who are in the chat right now. That said, I realized like I was constantly being asked, like when I was interacting with people, people were talking to me, like I was getting messages like asking about sales because a big part of my channel is I talk about how to sell, right? And I was getting a lot of questions like, well, that's kind of my background. So for the last 6 years, kind of I mentioned more recently in a lot of my videos, like I run 25 retail stores that is based on sales. It's a sales job. And I coach over 100 people on how to sell in the fitness community. So I used to be big into fitness. So we sell fitness supplements. And so I do that on a daily basis. And so my job is just constantly coaching people on how to sell, how to interact with people, how to build relationships. And I realized I was walking into a lot of fish stores, and I was also interacting with a lot of people who wanted to sell fish, and like, I don't know how to sell it. I don't know how to, number one, start. I don't know how to market, and I don't know how to like really like close a sale at the end of the day or like lock in. And so I walk into these fish stores, like no one greets me, just kind of like ignored. Not all of them. There's some great ones, like shout out to Music City Aquatics out here in Nashville. Incredible people, super awesome. But a lot of these fish stores I was walking into, it's like you're not greeted. And there just wasn't really any like sales behaviors in place. And so I wanted to come up with like a sales process, and it's everything I use myself. So like it's strategies on how to start your business, how to market your business. And then when someone is here coming to buy stuff, and it's the right type of sales, right? When people think sales, they think like the car salesman who's trying to scam you. No, that's not what it's about. Sales is about building true, genuine relationships with people that are long lasting to where you have friendships out of it. And you're setting that customer up for success. And I was realizing that like a lot of times in the fish community, people that I was interacting with didn't know how to do those things. So, greeting, when someone walks through there, greet them with a smile, ask them how their day's going, ask them what their favorite fish is. So there's a lot of little things you can do to make someone feel welcome. It's just like I always compare it to like someone who's maybe single going on a date. That first experience impression, you walk in, you sit down at a table. If you sit there and you don't say hi, you look down, there's no eye contact, you don't shake their hand, like you don't get to know them, you're just sitting there looking down, being awkward, it's not gonna be a very good date, and you're probably not gonna get that second date. And that's the same thing as sales. Like if you're selling, it doesn't matter what you're selling, whether it's fitness supplements, cars, fish, it's about that impression, creating an experience that people love, enjoy, and then setting your customer up for success. Because you can sell anything, right? But if you're selling the wrong thing, or you're overselling, or you're selling the wrong product, or you're that salesperson who's scamming people, you're not going to get repeat sales. So it's about creating an experience that is true and genuine to yourself, but also is memorable for the customer. And then it's asking those good open-ended questions. So like for me, like the sales I normally go, when someone walks through the door, we ask, what's your goals? Because like in fitness, everyone has a goal, right? They want to get bigger, stronger, faster. They want to lose weight. There's so many different types of goals. Well, when someone walks through your fish store, you might not know them until you get to know their name. You might not know what their goal is. So like, is their goal to have nano fish? Is their goal big fish, saltwater, freshwater, aquatic plants? What's their goal? So you can still ask like the what's your goal question. Like, what are you looking to get today? What type of fish do you have? What knowledge do you have? Like what size tank? So it's asking those open-ended questions, getting your customer talking, so then I can point you in the right direction if you need it to help set you up for success. Because a lot of times too that I was noticing is we sell the fish, but then we don't teach there's all these new people who are getting into the hobby. We sell them the fish, but then there's a lot of people who forget that like these people are walking in and they may not have the proper knowledge. So ask those questions. Like they're coming in and buy a rainbow. Like I was one of those people. I bought a rainbow shark when I first started the hobby like 6 years ago in college, and I had a 10-gallon tank. I shouldn't have done that, but they didn't ask me. Like it's my fault because I should have done research. But it's also the salesperson's job, in my opinion, to ask those open-ended questions to set that customer up for success. So like, hey, what size tank do you have? Do you have food for them? Do you have a heater? Like asking those questions helps out quite a bit to set your customer up. So yeah, the whole goal was to help people out there who want to build a business be able to have that like sales background that I haven't really seen in the fish community. I thought it was a gap, and I was like, hey, if anyone wants it, I'm going to talk about it on my channel to help you guys out, but also provide a course in the structure. Like I said, I'm very structured in how I try to do things. So provide a structure so that they can be set up for success. So yeah, kind of like you said, I did come out with the course. I have like a little free one to give away, but I do also have like an actual physical book I send out to help people. And it's just the stuff I've learned through retail sales and then also just through the fish hobby over the last couple of years. Sorry, super long-winded.
No. That's fine. I mean, that's actually, this is the place to go long-winded because it's the whole point of understanding what the program is. I know you talk about it in your channel, and I've seen some of the videos. Now, from what I'm understanding, is this mostly geared towards like a retail side of it? Because I'm thinking like in your garage, you don't necessarily have that interaction with people on a day-to-day basis. So some of that stuff would probably be tailored a little bit different. I mean, I could see where somebody with a small businesses like what you have, this really comes into play, like going to a swap,
Yep.
where that you're kind of bringing your business as a little retail table in this venue. And I think those skills are definitely important. But yeah, it's true. Kyle said in here, dude, the biggest stuff is the swap too. That too many people sit there and don't engage with people, and that's true. I've been to a lot of fish swaps, and where even if you're there interested in buying something and you're like, hey, how much are these? And they don't even bother looking up. It's like, oh yeah, those are so and so. It's like, forget it. I just move on. I don't need them that bad. But And it's true. You kind of sit there and like, why did you bother coming if you're not even gonna take the time to engage me? I'm interested in your product, but you don't even want to acknowledge the fact that I'm here. Yeah, I don't. I'll move on. There's plenty of other people that do want to sell. But I guess from a home business,
Mhm.
some of the biggest obstacles, and I don't know if you covered this in your courses or not,
Mhm.
is trying to set up a home business.
Yep.
There's a lot of challenges when it comes to that, and a lot of information that is not out there to, especially because at the end of the year, you're gonna have to file taxes.
Yeah.
Now, do you cover some of that stuff in the course that you have laid out?
So I try not to get into like the legal side of it. Like if I start giving out legal advice, like
No,
how
no,
to
I get that.
do all that, I can kind of get myself in trouble. It's more baseline, like entry level stuff and entry level sales. So it's set up in week one, and if anyone wants like the little free version, I can send it out to you. It's the week one is defining your why. Like, why are you doing this? Right? That's the number one
Okay.
question you're saying. Are you trying? And in my book, I ask, are you trying to make a little, run a little home business, make extra product to just cover the tanks, right? Like just selling fish, shrimp, or plants, you can make enough money to like cover the fish food, cover the electricity, cover some like little things you want for it. Are you just trying to do it to help like cover your fish hobby? Are you doing it to actually start a business, or are you trying to just like partner with your local fish stores and be the guy who like sells the fish stores? So it's like a comprehensive program, taking someone from step one to like 16 weeks later, hopefully generating their first sale. But it's number one, you got to define your why. Like, why are you doing it? And then based on that, we need to have a vision statement. Like for me, when I started 10-gallon fish tanks, my vision statement was I want to sell nano fish to the local community that are healthy, and I want to improve the hobby through it. So my whole goal was to sell healthy, quality fish that are small, 10-gallon fish tanks, something that can fit in a 10 or 20-gallon tank to the local community. So it helps you to define your why, define your vision, where you're trying to go, and then based on that, you can follow the program to help you get there. So there's different challenges like going into your fish store, getting to know the fish store owners. There's challenges like challenging with ideas of like shooting content to help you like get your brand awareness depending on what you're trying to do. So it can really be tailored. This like guide can be tailored to whoever you are, whether you're trying to start a business like like a little fish store out of your garage like I do, or you're just trying to be a home breeder and sell to local aquarium stores, or just sell a little bit locally on Facebook Marketplace. Like that's how I started. When I started, I didn't want to spend any money. I was a bit of an introvert, and I get a little shy in groups because I grew up kind of a loner. um, Even though now I work in retail and I'm interacting with people daily. So I started on Facebook, right? And I would do like these free Facebook postings where I would post my plants. People would hit me up and come pick up plants. Well, even though it's just a quick, short interaction, you still have to hand those plants to someone, right? So
Yeah.
then part of that is also teaching people when you're handing those plants, make it a memorable experience. Ask their name, thank them for the purchase, follow up afterwards. So there's little steps you can do, no matter if you're like just building a small little brand, or you're actually trying to build a store, or you're trying to partner with the local fish store. So it can be tailored to whatever you want. But the real premise of it is to teach just the foundations of how to take one tank, come up with a game plan, your why behind your doing it, what your breeding stock is, and then take that to generate and go towards your goal. Because the big thing I see with a lot of people, and this is one of the things I coach, people who work for me in sales, they have different whys, right? Maybe they want to just pay the bills for their family. Maybe they're trying to grow their careers and become a district manager, regional manager, vice VP. If I know that, I'm going to develop them differently. And it's the same thing in the fish hobby. Everything's a little different. So I have it kind of tailored where you can choose your route, right?
Yeah.
Very first week's defining your why, defining what you're going to breed, defining your setup, and then you based on that you can progress week by week. But it's setting that vision and that goal, because a lot of times people are just all over the place and then they don't go anywhere. So it's just setting that very clear, defined, putting it pen to paper, structured, and then based on that you can kind of progress. But yeah, I don't get into like the legal stuff, like how to file taxes, how to start your LLC, how to do a small business loan. I don't do any of that. It's just how to start your business, how to build rapport, how to build relationships, sales tactics and tips like name exchange, greeting, asking open-ended questions, thanking someone, following back up, 5 to 10 days later after purchase. Hey, I appreciate you coming in and picking up that Vallisneria from me. Are the plants doing okay for you? Awesome. Glad to hear it. If you know anybody who's looking for plants, if you wouldn't mind shouting me out and give me a reference, that'd be super cool. So whatever your goal is, like it's teaching those like foundational things that believe it or not, like I coach on a daily basis with everyone who works with me. And I figured, you know what, let's take those foundations, let's put them towards fish keeping.
Yeah, because I know that I for a period there I was thinking that I was going to try to do something. It's funny because um you got to understand, I guess, the market you're in too. If you're going to decide to do local, because I didn't want to ship, I didn't want to get into the whole deal of shipping. That's something that's always been hit or miss for me. I've had some success and I had some pretty bad failures doing it. So I try to stay away as much as possible from getting involved with having to ship stuff. That seems to be the biggest challenge when it comes to selling fish, especially if you want to reach a broader market. Is that you're going to have to get into that, you know, eventually if you want to grow. There's really no getting out of it. Um, but uh, like for example, where I live, it's a relatively, you know, big community. I think we might be close to 100,000, you know, population wise. And there's no fish stores. There used to be, I guess, before moved here, there used to be a mom and pop store that was open forever. They got to the age of retirement and nobody took over the store and it just kind of went away. And I've always been curious and I thought, oh, maybe this is a good market. Um, but it's funny because maybe for other businesses it's a good size demographics, but um, in our niche, it's a smaller group of community that really is into the fish. And it didn't take me very long because I was breeding some stuff within my fish room and turning out that I flooded my own market. You know, I was just kind of all the customers that I had were kind of I had already saturated with what I was able to put out for my fish room. And I'm kind of glad I figured that out before I really went in deep and started purchasing fish. Um, what are some of the things that you have learned in your experience where even though there seems like I because intuitive you would think no businesses to compete with, but there might be a reason that business doesn't exist is because there probably isn't a viable market for it. How do you advise somebody to kind of do their own little research, or what are some of the things that they need to look for to make sure that they don't get in over their head when they're starting to start up a business, or is that something that you don't necessarily cover?
No, yeah, absolutely. So part of the big thing in the challenge, and this is something I did when I was like, okay, I want to try to like make a side hustle, is you need to know your market, right? That's like foundational. Like, how are you going to do whether it's a home business, selling to stores, or selling online, or starting an actual like mom and like an actual physical store? You need to do your market research, right? You need to research the market, like you're saying. There could be 100,000 people in your area, but maybe there's only like 10 fish people in your area. Like you never know. So uh, so you got to find out. So like for me, part of like what I talk about is recommending like part of the way you can find that is starting your own like look on Facebook and research. That's a super easy way. So start out, don't go too big too fast, right? So for me, just kind of walk through my methodology and how I started and what I recommend is start with one tank, whatever you're passionate about. And the big thing for me is don't just breed something because it can make money. Breed what you're passionate about because I think passion speaks volume.
Mhm.
And even if you're not making money, you're going to still love the hobby and not be burnt out, and you're going to enjoy them no matter what. So like that's my number one rule in my like little fish store here is I have people hit me up a lot like, hey, will you get me Oscars? Will you do this? I'll buy you, if you pay me, I'll buy you an Oscar or quarantine and get it healthy and give it to you. But I'm not going to keep an Oscar in my fish room because I'm not passionate about an Oscar, right? So the number one thing I always say is like do what you're passionate about. So start small, pick out whatever tank you love. For me, it's 10-gallon tanks. Maybe you love 20-gallon longs or 75s or 125s. Pick out the tank you want to go with and the fish you're passionate about and start with that and then post about it on Facebook. So I always say post your plants. So when I started, I just posted my plants. I want to see, is there a market for like aquarium plants? So I post like Balisneria, frogbit, Java moss, Wasser tang. I post those on there, and then in the background I had like, because you can't sell fish, shrimp, or plant, you can't sell fish or shrimp or snails like live animals on Facebook. You can sell plants. So I post my plants, and then in the background I have some like fish in the background. People would message me like, "Hey, do you have any fish too?" And I'm like, and so I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah.
And so that's how I could like you could kind of easily test your market and see if there's anybody out there. Post some plants, have some stuff in the background. If you're getting hit up on Facebook and people are wanting to buy it, like I guess you have a market. Right, so that's number one. What you could do. Number two, go see if you have any fish stores. If there's any fish stores, go travel to those fish stores. Go check them out. Go down different days throughout the week. Go Monday, go Sunday, go Saturday. Go every single day of the week and see how busy it is. Go at different times and go into your fish store and just see how busy it is. That'll give you some more insight. Is there one fish store? Is there 10? And that'll also kind of tell you how big the market is. If there's like no fish stores, there's probably a reason for it. Either someone hasn't done it, isn't passionate, and there's a huge gap that needs to be filled, or there's not enough of a customer base to support it, right? So look at your market, see what fish stores there are, whatever fish stores are, go visit them, go talk to people, go interact. And then number 3, search on Facebook for different like aquarium societies. So like where I'm at, I saw someone in the chat ask, I'm out here in Tennessee, Nashville area. And so when I moved out here about 2 years ago, when I was in Dallas, I was a part of a bunch of different like fish groups. So look on Facebook, look for the fish groups, aquarium societies. Like for us, it's the Music City Aquarium Society out here. See what aquarium societies, what fish groups are on Facebook. That'll also tell you how many people are actually into it. And through those different kind of like practices, you can kind of get a good gauge on like who's all out there. But definitely start small, start with what you're passionate about, because the worst thing you could do is go out and buy 50 tanks and have no customer base, and go buy 50 different types of fish that you don't like. Now it's just a chore and you don't have any fun. Like this should be fun. You should walk in here and be excited.
Yeah. Now, as far as if people were interested in your course, how do they get a hold of it? Do they have to become members to be able to get access to it? Would you mind talking a little bit about, how do people access that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's 2 ways. You can go to 10gallonfishtanks.com. It's literally like 10gallonfishtanks.com. And you can go under like courses and you can select the course. It's literally called Aquarium Sales Sprint. And you can purchase it there. You can also email me at TEN and then Gallon Fish Tanks and reach out to me there. I can send you like a little sample I have of it to help you define your why. So part of the book, I'll see if I can show you real quick, is it's not just about sales. It's also like it's a place to help you stay structured. I'm someone who's like a little OCD to an extent. So there's like a place for notes. So every single week, it's 52 weeks of notes. So there's a place like every week as you come into your fish room, if you notice something weird or you know something different, you can take notes in here and track it. Because I found myself, a lot of people have like their aquarium log, the log stuff in a notebook. So I wanted to provide also a spot where you could like notate everything. There's a spot in here for people who want to shoot content of like my recommended like content strategies. There's a place for note taking as well over here. But yeah, you can email me at 10gallon fish tanks. I'll give you a free sample of it. And then there's also 10gallonfishtanks.com. I have it posted on there as well. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, part of this is also, I'm big into like ethical breeding and ethical sourcing. I want to make sure because one of the things I really hate, and I experienced this unfortunately in Tennessee, is there's some people out here, not only in like the fish community, but also like the like wild exotic pet trade out here, where sometimes things aren't very kosher, animals aren't very well taken care of, they're suffering, they're not being fed. I walked in on I delivered some fish out here in this area, and unfortunately I walked into a situation where there's 30 plus dogs all like on chains. They're about to die from malnutrition, and I hate that. I also don't like that in the fish community. So part of this is also I want to help promote good ethical breeding and ethical sales, like people I can stand behind. Because one of the things I was frustrated a little bit with, and it's probably my fault, I didn't do enough research. But when I got into the hobby, I didn't know where to buy fish from that I knew were going to be like good, like healthy, quality. I would go online. I'm like, I don't know what sources I can trust that are like actually going to ship it to me and not be a scam or like be terrible fish. And so at the end of the course, when you pass everything, you get to jump on a live stream. So I want to shout you out if you pass the course. When you get through the course, I want to shout you out, learn about your business, learn about what you're doing. But also you get a certification where you go on my website, you'll see the certification. And whether you do the course or you just want the certification itself, the certification is geared towards anyone who's, in my opinion, doing the fish hobby the right way. They're quarantining, they're medicating them if they get sick, they're not selling them, they're shipping them appropriately, because I also don't want people just shipping fish out and just killing over half of them, right? We want these are live living animals that I am very passionate about and care about, and I want to make sure they're treated fairly. So part of it is also helping, my goal is to help improve the aquarium hobby and making sure that we are sourcing and selling fish the right way, and we're taking care of these live animals that are truly should be valued and treated appropriately. So I dropped a course, a certification as well. It's a year-long certification, $60, and there's a bunch of questions. You have to submit photos of your tanks. You have to meet certain standards, and if you meet those standards, you get the certification proving you as a 10-gallon fish tank partner. And then I shout you out on my channel to give you publicity like, hey, these are people I stand behind how they're selling fish. They're doing it the right way. Their fish are going to be healthy. They're going to be quarantined. They're going to ship them fast and appropriately so they don't die. Now, there's when you ship stuff, there's going to be some deaths, but we want to minimize that to the best of our ability. So part of it is teaching people how to sell, and then part of it's also bringing awareness. Like, these are businesses I can stand behind that are quarantining healthy fish, shipping right. They're going to give you good customer service, like all those type of things.
Yeah, I know one of the biggest challenges that I had when I was trying to ship was trying to keep the cost down for shipping. Um, you could use like third party shippers that I guess would reduce some of that because of volume that they're
Yeah.
doing that. I'm assuming that's all information you're going to cover for people that are interested in taking the course, or is that stuff you guys don't get into?
Yeah, I'm including guides. I'm still building some extra guides in there. I have my main course, and then I have supplemental guides that kind of get into like how I've been shipping, best practices around it, along with there's a couple other guides. I have like 5 extra guides on top of my book that I'm providing, and I'm kind of adding more and more as I go. So I'm still building it out. But yes, like how to ship fish appropriately, all that's going to be in the course as well through different PDFs. It's just not in the main book. The main book's more focused on sales, and then I have supplemental PDFs that talk about how to market yourself on Facebook, how to I actually provide acclimation instructions that you can give your customer. Because a big thing I'm on is like, you walk into a fish store, you buy the fish, you walk out. Most of the time, at least in my experience, I don't know if I'm just like a weird one-off scenario, but most of the time if I go buy a fish at the fish store, they don't tell me how to acclimate my fish. They don't tell me what food my fish needs. So I provide like an acclimation guide that you can literally just print out and give to your customers when you're selling, to make sure that if you sell a fish, you're setting that customer up to know how to acclimate it appropriately. I talk about building out like food guides so that when you give a fish, they know how to care for it. So yeah, I have those extra little guides kind of built in there.
Yeah, and I guess that all plays into the customer service aspect of your business, and those are a lot of those business like the fish stores and stuff like that. They're under the assumption that most people that are coming in there are experienced hobbyists, so they feel like they don't have to spend the time doing that. But I guess those are the businesses that'll set them apart. It's those little small details that I think people will take into consideration and go, all right, I can go here or I can go over here where I'll get a little bit more attention, and that's what might make the difference between buying from one person or another. I'm trying to ask you the questions, but I don't want you to. I know that there's some information that people have to acquire if they purchase it. I don't want you to give all that stuff out for free.
I'll say this: I love sharing information. Like, I'm not in this just to make a bunch of so just to kind of like clarify, I'm doing this because it's like something I'm passionate about and love. I'd love to make some money from it, but like whatever questions you have, ask me. I give out free information on my channel all the time. I have nothing to hide. Like, I'll share whatever. It helps someone out there. That makes my day.
Yeah. The other thing that I was interested in is if somebody decides to purchase the course, um, is there a method for them to be able to stay in communication for questions or concerns? Is that something that comes with the course to have access to you, or is that handled differently?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a special Facebook group. So if any of you are following my channel out there watching, or anybody new, I have my members only Facebook group. So anyone who joins my member, they get put on my member wall. And then I have a special Facebook group with them where I hang out and we hang out and have a good time. Well, I started the Aquarium Sales Success members Facebook page. So you see when you get in the course, I just launched it. I don't have any members yet. I have it out there if anyone wants to join it and do it. But when people join, there is that special Aquarium Sales Success Blueprint Facebook only group. So you have to request to join, have to see that you purchase, you get added in, and no matter what, for infinity and beyond, you get to stay in that course. So once you purchase the program, you're in that course. Whoever joins over the course of the next couple of years, 10 years, 20 years, however long this goes on for, right? You get access to that special Facebook group. And that's a big part of what I'm trying to do, is build community and share ideas. So like, I don't claim to be the expert on everything. Like there's some really cool people like Christine I met through my channel who was more than kind enough, and I like to be that person too. She reached out and shared like her shipping practices and tips that she did that like are super successful, and she's based out of Washington. So my goal is to build a community. Like if you purchase the course, provide a space where everyone who's passionate about like selling fish, sales, knowledge, shipping, doing things like quarantining, making sure their fish are healthy. I want to provide a community, like a space where we all can get there. We can ask each other questions. I can learn from you guys. You can hopefully learn something from me. And we can all hang out, share what we're doing, and help each other all like succeed, learn, and grow together.
Now, when did you start this course? Have you had anybody complete the course yet?
No, I just launched it. It literally launched like last Sunday.
Okay.
So last week ago. I just launched it, just announced this. No one's completed it yet. It was something that I thought about in 2025 as like, I was like, I don't really see anyone doing this. And I had so many people asking me about sales, how I was doing things like that. I was like, it seems like there's like, especially on my channel, that people are like tuning in, hanging out. It's been cool because there's people who, without even this course, they've just been watching my channel. And this is what makes me happy. And they message me on Facebook and are part of my member group. They reach out and ask me a lot of questions. Well, it's been cool. One of the guys who follows my channel, he's about to open his first fish store using the like methods I've been teaching on my channel for completely free, right? And I have another person who's now generating $500, $700 a month. So I was like, well, if these people are finding successes and they're reaching out to me like, hey, dude, these tips you're sharing just on YouTube that are completely free are working. I was like, why don't I create like a really structured, organized program for people that maybe like want more? Because I realized like right now, like I get messages like almost every day right now. And I'm like spending hours a day, like messaging everyone, answering all these questions. I'm like, if I could just provide like a book where if someone asks me, I'm like, hey, you know, this took me quite a long time. I had my person who does all my marketing manager, she had to create it and everything. I was like, why don't I just put it all in one spot? So if someone asks me, I'm like, I have a nice structured, organized book. And I'll still answer the questions. Like I'm totally down to give out information for free, but you know, save me a little time because I'm starting to get more and more messages about things like that. And it's like every day I'm messaging like 10, 20 people and it can be hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah, I'm assuming the course is kind of self-taught. You go at your own pace, or are you holding like once a month live streams for people in the course, or uh, is there anything like that, or is it just kind of like, yeah, you just kind of read through it and put it to practice?
Yeah, so it's more self-taught, but I am there to support you. So it's 16 weeks. So you start out, you define your why, and you start week 1, and then every week the challenge is to go into the group and post something, engage, ask the community, right? Like, we're still small, we're growing, there's nobody there yet. We got to build it. Like if people want it, they'll show up. If they don't, not a problem. I had fun building it. But so the goal is I'll be there supporting. I'll be in the chat. If you have questions, ask me throughout the week. I'm not going to like chase you down and be like, hey, what do you need? But if you have questions, ask me. Like anybody who's in that group, I'm like just like my member only. Well, I'll add you on Facebook. You guys have access to my Facebook Messenger. You can message me in that group. Any questions you have, ask me. It's self-taught. You go through the book outlines week by week. Each week you follow the steps. You do the different challenges. You know, going to fish stores, setting up a new tank, filming this new content, whatever it might be that you know, the challenges we have set for the week. You follow the course. Any questions you have, just ask them to me. I'm more than happy to engage, help you. And then, you know, I jump on a call with you at the end of the 16-week program to answer any questions you have. So it's a 30-minute video call that's, you know, covered. I jump on questions, concerns. If someone wants to do that beforehand, I mean, we're small, we're growing now. If the thing starts growing really big, I can't do this long term, but short term, yeah, I'm more than happy to jump on some calls and answer some questions week by week with whoever may need it. I mean, my goal is to help you succeed. If that helps you succeed and you win, I mean, we all win, and that's what makes it fun. So, but yeah, it's more self-taught week by week. At the end, you jump on a call with me, and we talk about it. And then any questions you have, you just hit me up in the group, and I'll answer them.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I was curious is it a one-time fee for the course, or is it on blocks? You know, incremental blocks. As you complete a block, you pay for the next one, or how do you have that structured?
Yeah, right now it's a one-time fee. So like to kind of explain it, like my background is fitness. So I guess something that like I haven't shared on the channel is I used to be a personal trainer, and I actually still am. Like I'm currently training people for bodybuilding shows, and so through that, I have 16 different certifications I had to pay for, right? I don't know if anyone out there is into fitness, but if you are, NASM's like the high-end, like well-known certification. NASM, there's a couple other ones that are like the best certifications for personal training. I want this to kind of be that, right? I want this to be the certification for that. So it's a one-time fee. It is $300. I priced it based on like the certifications I pay for when it goes to personal training. My NASM cert was like $600 when I started, and then every like 2 years, I have to recertify, and that's like $500 usually to recertify. This is different. This is one-time fee, 300. You get through. You get posted at the end of my video when you complete the course. You get posted at the end of the video as one of the people who completed the sales course. And then you get that certification that approves you as a 10-gallon fish tank partner. Now, the certification is good for 1 year. If you want to re-up your certification to be like a 10-gallon fish tank partner, I have to go through, validate photos. I have to ask you questions. I might have to get on a video call and make sure that you're still meeting the standards I need to see be met for me to stand behind you and back you. That's $60 a year. But the $300 fee is up front, so you learn all the sales knowledge, you get all the resources. And then if you see value in it and you want to renew your certification, it's just $60 a year. So $5 a month.
Now, and then here's the other thing, because I just knowing how some people are is like, because they buy the course doesn't necessarily guarantee that they're going to be able to make. I mean, it's still going to take some work from the individual to get to meet those goals. You're basically providing the information, the tools they might need to be able to succeed. Correct?
Correct. I do not guarantee that you're going to make money. It literally says it on my thing. This is not guaranteeing that you're going to like generate money and start a business. This is just giving you the tools and resources you need and a moral support and someone who's done it. I'm not saying I made it, but someone who's made some success. Like every tank you see here has been paid for by the prior tank. So it's not guaranteeing your success. It's just these are the tools, tips, tricks, and things I did to help people succeed. And if someone else, hopefully they could take the knowledge I've learned and spent the last 2.5 years learning the fish hobby, but 6 years in the sales game. Hopefully they see value in it. And if they follow the blueprint, I find it extremely hard to believe because people who are genuinely following it right now without me even launching it, who've just been watching my channel, doing what I'm recommending you do, they're all finding success and sharing their successes with me. So if you put the work in and you follow what I'm asking you to follow and you truly follow it to the extent and you ask questions when you're confused, it'll be hard not to succeed, but yeah, there's no guarantee that you will. It's just giving you the resources that you might need. Like one of the things, like when I was getting into it, especially as I started expanding, is like I needed to find a wholesaler to work with, and I was doing tons of research, and I was like struggling to find wholesalers. Well, that's one of the documents I'm currently working on that I'm going to add to the course. That's like my recommended wholesaler list that I work with. So stuff like that.
Okay. I guess knowing that that's what's going on now, what do you see down the line for your channel? I mean, is it something you're going to continue to create content and post on there, or is it you're going to start focusing more on this venture that you're doing now? What's your future for your channel look like?
Yeah, so my future, I would say, was like continuing what I'm doing, right? I love what I'm doing. I'm having fun with it. So just kind of like we talked off camera, I'm doing this channel for fun. This is just for fun. Like realistically, when I look at the money I guess I make through selling fish, the time I put into it, the money I make through monetization, like I could make a lot more money doing something else. I'm doing this because it's fun, not to like necessarily make money. It's cool I make some money through it, but it all goes right back into the fish room. So the goal with the channel is keep doing what I'm doing. I'll probably post like a sales tip once a month. I like to like go do different vlog videos. So I partner with Music City Aquatics. I'll go down there, shoot content with them. I'm actually planning on going down there this weekend. So if anyone's out in Nashville, most likely Sunday, if you jump in there, I'll probably get to see you guys and hang out with you. I'll be down there shooting a video collaboration with them because I want to see them to be successful. But it's going to be the same content. This is just like a side quest. This is just something I wanted to provide to help people. It's not the focus of my channel. It's by any means. I want to keep just shooting the content like you guys. Anyone who's followed at this point, we're still super small and we're growing. We're having fun with it. Like 2,800 members, subscribers. Like I'm not changing up what I'm doing to focus on this. We're going to keep talking about fish. We're going to keep enjoying fish. I'm going to throw a little sales tactics and tips I've learned. And just the content you've seen prior, expect that continued in the future. This is just a resource I wanted to provide to kind of help people out.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a platform out there called Fish Fam Link. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I think it seems like it'll be a great fit for you because not only will it put all your content information on that website, and I think it's still free. It used to be free where they would do all that. I also noticed that you started doing live streams. So you can either, if you're going to do like a regular live stream on X day at X time, it actually has a calendar there that it will post it so that people are aware what's going on that day. And if you don't do that, because I used to use that, but now because I schedule on the same dates or times, as long as I put it with a few days in advance, they'll post it for me,
Mhm.
and it'll be in there that next day I'm going to be going live, and it really does help. It really does help to get the word out there um, to be able to let people know that you're going to be doing a live stream or you're putting out a new video, whatever it is you're doing. And so that's a good resource for you. I could see that being a good fit for what you're doing. It'll make it real easy for people also to be able to reach out to you if that's what they choose to do. um,
Appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, and as far as the live streams, is that something I noticed that you've been doing a few of those? You got one that's coming up the 1st of February. Is that something that you're going to continue to do more on a regular basis?
Yeah, 100%. So my posting schedule for any out there, like I said, I post long form videos every Sunday at 12. I post shorts every single day, Monday through Saturday, and then the first Sunday of every month, I do a live stream for everybody. And then the third Sunday, so this upcoming Sunday, I do the live stream for the members. So I actually
Okay.
have River and Root Aquatics jumping on and hanging out with me for the members live stream. But yeah, every single month, first Sunday of the month at 7 p.m. Central Time, I do my live streams for everyone, and then the third Sunday of every month at 7 p.m. Central Time, I do my members one.
All right. Anything else that you want to talk about before we jump off of here that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, I guess a couple things I'll share with you guys, and I haven't fully shared this on my channel yet. I've shared little tips with my members and things, but I've gotten into 3D printing. Do you do any 3D printing?
No, I know that's a big thing now, especially now. It's actually become something that's very useful because it allows you to create stuff that you probably can't find in the market. It allows you to customize stuff, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I just got into it. My wife bought it for me for Christmas, so I just started. So I'm playing around, having fun. Like I created my own like little aquarium rings that float. I know that's like super common; everyone has them. But I've been playing around with 3D modeling and just learning it. I love like learning new things. And so one of the other things, and if anyone out there has advice or information around 3D printing, please hit me up. Like I need to learn as much about it as possible. But I actually recently learned how to design my own like sponge filter recently. So I'm working on doing a lot of 3D printing. So you guys are going to see like a bunch of stuff that I'm creating through my own personal ones. These aren't going to be ones that other people post. It's going to be personal stuff I've made and designed myself. These will be on my website. I'll be like 3D printing. So my members, I'm sending these out to free for not all of them, but like 9 of my members signed up for me to send these out to be test runs. So I want to make sure they work good before I launch them on my website. So I got these sponge filters I created. And then the thing I'm about to launch, so I don't know if you noticed, but I did turn off my shipping on my website. It's been
No.
turned off for 2 months now. And it was intentional because I wanted to revamp how I ship fish. So part of my vision is to create an experience. It's going to be expensive. It's not going to be cheap, and that's totally fine because my main focus is like the local people I work with. And I provide shipping to people who just want to support and want to be able to get some of the stuff but aren't local. But I've revamped my shipping process, so I'll share this with you guys. So I now have my custom like shipping boxes, 10-gallon fish tank boxes, which is fun. So I wanted to make it kind of like a little care package, like an experience when you open it. So you got your own custom box I ship it out to, and then everything's customized with special acclimation instructions. And then one of the big things, because I wanted to provide is like really high-end, nice acclimation instructions. But one of the other things is when I was shipping fish, I would provide like just little pieces of paper that tell you how to acclimate and how to care for your fish. Well, my acclimation instructions now are going to be on a card, and it's going to on the backside. It's like a Pokemon card. So you have a fish game you can play against people, but also it tells you like, hey, your fish should be in these water parameters. This is what you should feed your fish. So it's something that you can reference easily. And
Okay.
throw away in the trash. So kind of revamping my shipping, and I'm relaunching that in about a week. So I'm excited to relaunch that.
Nice.
Yeah. So having
All
fun.
right. Well, I want to wish you the best of luck. Again, super excited to see your progression, and it'll be fun to see where this takes you to, and hopefully some people will take advantage of the courses you're offering if that's something they really want to do is really get serious about sales. Um, and with that being said, I just wanted to again thank you so much for taking the time to coming on and hanging out with me and sharing what you're doing. I do appreciate that very, very much.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and I just want to thank everyone out there watching. Thanks for joining, hanging out with us. That's what makes it fun. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right. With that being said, I want to thank everybody that joined us this evening. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting the both of us. And we'll see you again tomorrow. I'm going to have an opportunity to talk to Louise from the Elite Menagerie. What is it? Elite Menagerie Aquariums, I think. And so that'll be interesting. Hopefully, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you, Jossiah, for hanging out with me.